Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. Before we begin, have you thanked Allah today for all His blessings? Our health, our families, our ability to learn. These are immense graces we should never forget. What if I told you that over 1,000 years ago, one man revolutionized medicine so completely that his methods are still used today? What if this same man was considered a heretic by his peers, yet became the most sought-after doctor in the Islamic world? This man wasn't just a revolutionary doctor. He was a radical philosopher, pioneering chemist, accomplished mathematician, and free thinker who dared question the very foundations of knowledge of his time. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of Abu Bakr Al-Razi, known in the West as Rhazes. A man who dared challenge Aristotle himself and completely transformed medicine, immunology, and scientific research. If you're fascinated by forgotten historical figures who changed the world, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. We're about to uncover one of history's most brilliant minds. How many times have you benefited from medical innovation without knowing who invented it? Taken medicine, received a vaccine, or consulted a doctor who took detailed notes about your symptoms without realizing these practices date back to a genius from the 9th century? Our modern medical system rests on foundations laid by men like Al-Razi, but their story has been largely erased from Western history books. Today, we're correcting this injustice. Picture this. It's the early 900s, in the heart of the Islamic Golden Age. The Abbasid Caliphate is at its peak. Baghdad is the intellectual center of the world, and scholars are translating ancient Greek works. The House of Wisdom in Baghdad was like a combination of the Library of Alexandria, Harvard, and MIT. Scholars of all religions gathered there: Muslims, Christians, Jews, Zoroastrians, all united by their thirst for knowledge. Unlike medieval Europe, where questioning ancient authority was often blasphemous, the Islamic world encouraged intellectual debate and empirical research. From Cordoba to Samarkand, academic institutions flourished. Hospitals were centers of medical research. Libraries overflowed with manuscripts in multiple languages. Born around 854 CE in Ray, near modern Tehran, Abu Bakr Al-Razi grew up in a prosperous Silk Road city. Ray was a cultural crossroads where Persian, Arab, Greek, and Indian traditions mingled. This early exposure to cultural diversity profoundly marked Al-Razi, developing his cosmopolitan mentality. His wealthy parents provided excellent education. Young Al-Razi first studied liberal arts, Arabic grammar, poetry, rhetoric, and crucially, music. This musical training would prove fundamental to his scientific career. 9th century music wasn't just art, it was rigorous mathematical science. Al-Razi mastered both practical and theoretical aspects, understanding how sound frequencies follow precise mathematical relationships. This taught him precise observation, understanding complex systems, and controlled experimentation, skills crucial for his medical career. Around age 30, Al-Razi made a radical decision. He would dedicate his life to medicine, but unlike most doctors who memorize classical texts, Al-Razi adopted a revolutionary approach. He would study all great masters, but not accept them blindly. While everyone followed Aristotle's teachings like gospel, Al-Razi questioned Aristotle's medical theories and turned to Plato's ideas. Imagine a modern physicist questioning Einstein. That was Al-Razi's level of controversy. This was dangerous. Questioning Aristotle could make or break careers. But Al-Razi had a cutting response. Arrogance is letting patients die because you refuse to question centuries-old theories. Humility is admitting you can be wrong and constantly seeking to improve. Al-Razi was probably the first doctor to systematically record patient symptoms, track disease progression, and document treatment outcomes. He literally created the medical case study, understanding that each patient is unique, and medical generalizations must be based on carefully documented individual cases. He was the first to clearly distinguish between smallpox and measles, diseases confused for centuries. His descriptions remained the standard medical reference for over 600 years. Most impressively, he discovered that smallpox survivors never got it again. He was discovering immunity without having a word for it, describing microbial transmission centuries before the microscope. Al-Razi introduced animal gut for sutures, plaster of Paris for setting bones, and alcohol as antiseptic. These innovations saved countless lives and established enduring standards of care. His success was undeniable. Hospitals across the caliphate appointed him head physician. Legend says when tasked with choosing Baghdad's new hospital location, he placed fresh meat in different city locations and observed where they decomposed least quickly, preferring experimentation over intuition. Al-Razi wasn't just a great doctor, he was one of the first true scientists. While contemporaries relied on ancient texts and religious authority, Al-Razi insisted knowledge should come from direct observation and experimentation. He was laying groundwork for the scientific methods centuries before Francis Bacon got credit. As an accomplished alchemist, Al-Razi was among the first to distill pure alcohol, synthesize sulfuric acid, and develop metal purification methods. His alchemical work allowed him to develop new medicines and pharmaceutical preparation methods. Al-Razi wrote over 200 books. His masterwork, the Comprehensive Book of Medicine, was a 23-volume encyclopedia covering everything known about medicine, plus his own discoveries. His most important work, Doubts on Galen, systematically challenged Galen's 500-year medical authority with evidence. This wasn't just medical progress, it was a paradigm shift. Al-Razi was saying, don't believe something because an authority said it. Test it. Prove it. Question everything. Al-Razi's commitment to scholarship was legendary and tragic. He reportedly studied so intensively that he damaged his eyesight from reading by candlelight. As his vision deteriorated, he said he had seen enough of the world and declined most treatments. He died around 925 CE, leaving a legacy that influenced medicine for centuries. Here's the frustrating truth. Al-Razi's contributions became invisible because they became standard practice. Clinical observation methods? Standard. Understanding immunity? Built into modern medicine. Evidence-based treatment? Foundation of all modern medicine. His works were translated into Latin and studied in European medical schools well into the Renaissance. But as medicine became more Western, Al-Razi's name faded from the story. Al-Razi established principles that seem obvious now but were radical then. Observation over authority, systematic documentation, controlled comparison, recognizing individual variation, and integrating multiple disciplines. These form the foundation of modern scientific medicine. His personal philosophy was revolutionary. He believed human reason and observation were the best guides to truth. While a believing Muslim, he insisted religious authority shouldn't override empirical evidence in natural science. Al-Razi wrote, "The seeker after truth is not one who studies the writings of the ancients and puts his trust in them, but rather the one who suspects his faith in them and questions what he gathers from them." His approach to medical ethics was equally advanced, emphasizing honesty, compassion, humility, and evidence-based practice. He advocated for what we now call informed consent, duty to do no harm, and patient confidentiality. Al-Razi's story teaches us that progress requires challenging authority, systematic thinking, interdisciplinary approaches, ethical commitment, and persistence. Most importantly, scientific progress depends on individuals willing to take intellectual risks. The rediscovery of Al-Razi's contributions is part of recovering lost Islamic scientific history. Recent scholarship has corrected historical imbalances, showing how Islamic Golden Age scholars laid groundwork for later advances. Today, as we face new medical challenges, Al-Razi's example remains relevant. His rigorous methodology, ethical commitment, and willingness to challenge conventional wisdom provide a model for contemporary researchers. Abu Bakr Al-Razi's story teaches us that progress requires challenging authority, and that innovation comes from careful observation, not just tradition. Most importantly, scientific progress is a global, collaborative effort spanning cultures and centuries. The next time you visit a doctor who takes detailed notes or receive a vaccine, remember you're benefiting from innovations that began over 1,000 years ago with a rebel scholar in medieval Persia. Al-Razi proved that one person, armed with curiosity and courage, can change the world. His legacy lives on in every hospital, clinical trial, and doctor who puts patient welfare above personal convenience. In our age of rapid change and global health challenges, we need more people like Al-Razi, individuals willing to question assumptions, test new ideas, and pursue truth wherever it leads. His courage in challenging established wisdom required intellectual bravery we can still admire. Most inspiringly, Al-Razi shows us that dedicated individuals can indeed change the world. The question remains, what will you do with that inspiration? How will you apply Al-Razi's example of rigorous thinking, ethical commitment, and fearless inquiry to your own life? May Allah grant us wisdom to learn from this great scholar's example, and courage to apply his principles in our own pursuit of knowledge and service to humanity. If you enjoyed learning about this forgotten genius, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of brilliant minds who changed history. Let me know in the comments which historical figure you'd like to see next. Jazakallahu khairan for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.